Hi, this is the Dog of Evil. This episode is sponsored by Petco.com/laugh, where you can save 10% and get free shipping and all kinds of good stuff for your pets. Get some!
Hey junkies, A. Kovacs here, Director of Doom at Dark Overlord Media, here to bring you this week's Friday Fix. This week we have a video fix, obviously, and it is an interview that Scott did with AM Northwest, which is a morning show at KATU TV in Portland, Oregon. He was on the ANCESTOR tour, and he stopped by to talk about ANCESTOR and his writing style and his writing process and a few other things. And it's kind of a fun interview, and even though I know that he wasn't pregnant at the time and he wasn't barefoot at the time, he's in the kitchen in the interview. So we thought we'd share it with you. We hope you have a nice weekend. There's more content coming for you on Sunday, more ANCESTOR on Sunday, more Friday Fix, and on it goes. And I guess until then, I'm out. Have a good weekend, junkies. Peace out.
Welcome back to AM Northwest on this Tuesday morning. Every 5 minutes, a transplant candidate dies waiting for a compatible organ. Now imagine that scientists are able to recreate an animal whose organs could be implanted in anyone. Then imagine these new animals were anything but docile. That's the premise of our next guest cutting-edge thriller, Ancestor. We welcome to AM Northwest author and popular podcaster Scott Sigler. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
I think it's fascinating, too, that we were just discussing the way you do podcasts is you actually tell the story in segments and gets people excited about the book.
Yeah, I record the audiobook myself, and then we chop it up into 20 to 35-minute segments, and we play the whole book unabridged on my website at scottsigler.com. So if people can tune in every week and last 25, 30 weeks, they get to hear the whole story, but hopefully they get excited and want to go buy the book.
Of course. How did you come up with this concept?
It was podcasting really took off in 2005. And I had been trying to get published for quite some time. And when I learned about podcasting, I was like, wow, this is great. People are going to use this to deliver radio or deliver content like the radio serials of the 40s and 50s. I went looking for books to listen to. When I didn't find any, realized that at that point, nobody had done it yet. So I was like, a huge opportunity to go out and give my books away for free and develop an audience.
Now, in Ancestor, there's a lot of science involved here. How did you decide? I mean, you must read a lot of science journals. I
read the higher level popular science things, like Popular Science, New Scientist, Discover, watch a lot of TV. So, you know, I'm not a scientist. I'm like a fan of science, but then I'll come up with these general concepts in an outline. And then because of the podcasting, I've got several biology PhDs and physicists, people who are fans of the work, who have written in to say, can I help you edit and make sure you get the science right? And I'm like, absolutely.
Oh, sure.
So I have 3 biology PhDs read this book at different stages, and it's kind of a peer-reviewed fiction novel now. It's a lot of fun.
Tell us about the story.
The story is, the summary was excellent. The organ shortage problem is a major issue right now.
Sure.
People are dying because there just aren't enough lungs, livers, hearts, and kidneys. And the surgery is, why it's not commonplace, it's very successful now. If you can get a donor kidney, you're probably going to live through that. So these people are dying for almost no reason. So in biotech right now, trying to find a way around the organ shortage issue is a major endeavor. And the biotech company that solves this will not only save millions of lives, they'll make billions of dollars. So in this book, the fictitious company Janata is trying to solve this through a process called xenotransplantation, which is taking organs from animals and putting them into people. So you might be dying. If you get a pig heart to replace your heart, it'll work and keep you alive. But there's a lot of technical issues with that right now, and we can't pull it off. So Janata's effort to do that is to sequence the genome of the ancestor of all mammals, the commonality we all have in the species, and then use that as building blocks to build up their own animal. They build it in computer, DNA in the computer, model it, then are able to literally print the DNA and create an egg, which they put into a surrogate cow. So all of this technology is actually things that we have right now.
Wow.
It's just putting them together in this combination, creating a thriller out of it. That takes science to the fictitious level.
How did you grow up with an interest in this? Were you? I think I read that your mom was a teacher. Is that right? And your dad was into horror movies?
My dad's a big horror movie fan. Yeah. And so I was watching.
Do you remember the first horror movie? The first
one I ever saw was King Kong. To me, King Kong is a giant monster horror movie. And he took me to see King Kong in 1976. And I was a little kid, and I cried the whole way through. When King Kong starts banging on the fortress door, Daddy, get me out of here, Daddy, get me out of here, and he laughed. He thought that was very funny. So, so we stayed through the whole movie. And then I'm crying the whole time, and then as soon as we walk out the door, the first thing out the door, I said, Daddy, when can we go see that again? So,
oh, that's funny.
Right at like 6 or 7, I fell in love with the concept of, you know, scaring people in a safe, controlled environment. And shortly after that, discovered Stephen King, and from there it was, it was a lost cause. After that, I knew what I wanted to do.
Now, I know your wife is a writer as well. Does she read your drafts and give you comments and criticisms?
Yes, she does. I have a lot of people who read the drafts. I try and get as much input as possible before it goes out. If people are going to spend their money on it, it's got to be as good as it possibly can be. She tends to be the first reader of the works, and a lot of times as a writer you're told, don't let your spouse read it, don't let your mom and dad read it, because they won't give you honest feedback. I fortunately don't have that problem.
I love it when wives are like that.
Oh, when she goes through, she's just brutal with the first draft, and we fix it up from there.
Awesome. Well, the book is called Ancestor. It's in bookstores right now. We'll put the information on our website at KATU.com. Scott, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Coming up next on AM Northwest, we're going to hear from a guest who considers Faith Hill another mom. Stay with us.